Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you a way that I am drawing RUKIA from BLEACH. It's quite easy and I'll take you step by step. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Much obliged. First, I recommend drawing the outside lines of the character you want to do, and then very lightly, and then afterwards, if you're happy with what you see, you redraw the lines over what you've drawn, but in a darker pencil. This way, it won't leave any marks if you decide, oh, you want to change something here and there, because that happens often when drawing. As you can see here, I am going over the lightly drawn lines that I've made with a darker pencil. It's making it more prominent, and this is the structure of my character, RUKIA, in this case. I like to outline the areas where the darker part of the shading comes, just so that I can see myself where I'm going to go more darker than other places, as well as where the highlights are, like example at the top of her head. And then I like going into a bit of the detail just so I don't lose myself, and I've started doing the lips, and most of the lips in anime are done by just adding shadows. Here I've started doing the hair. Now, the thing with anime hair is, especially with this character, is she's got black hair. So you want to go as dark as possible. However, you still want to create a 3D type of appearance, not making the image look flat. By doing this, you can add some white areas where you think the sun would catch. For example, at the bottom, you can see easily the whiter spots I've done. And then next to the white spots, I've made it a bit darker, giving it a more 3D appearance and not just a colored in appearance. Now I'm busy putting in some of the shading at the bottom parts of the image. I'm literally just outlining where I'm going to add the shading in. It just makes life easier when you start coloring in, so you don't add either too much or too little shading. So then you just like to add a general shade to the shading, start light and then go darker. And then darker more to the edge, and then as you go inwards towards the head, you go a tad bit lighter, and that way it'll look more realistic and 3D. As you can see, closer to where the face and the head touches, I'm making more dark. It creates a rounder appearance because that side is usually closest to the head, and the highlights come more to the center of the head. I'm also making it a bit lighter outside the shading, making it a gradual increase to the lighter color. Now, me being me, focuses a lot on the points of the hair where the bangs are ending. I really like the structure of that, and I always try to make it look as effortless as possible, as if it's just hanging there in the wind. Also, to remember to never rush a drawing, because there's nothing worse than working hard on something and then it not coming out well because you decided, oh, I want to try and get this done as fast as possible. Something nice takes time to do. And also remember that if you're just starting out with drawing anime, don't worry too much about getting everything perfect the first go. It takes practice and it takes dedication. And if you do struggle to get the correct shape in the beginning of the character you want to do, you can always consider maybe starting out just for practicing, tracing the character, and then as you get better at your skill, you can start drawing them freehand. Here you can see I am just adding a bit of the darker parts at the top of her head. I'm leaving some of the white where the light catches it, give her a very dramatic look. And here you can see I'm busy coloring in around one of the most highlighted parts of her head. Now always remember, with a lot of anime characters, the back part of the head or the front part always has a white shine to it, and that's usually to illustrate the sun grabbing it. Now the best way to make that look very prominent is to make almost like a shadow effect around the white part, and then leaving the white part as white as you would prefer it to keep it dramatic and as realistic as possible. Just remember, we do know her hair is black, but you don't have to make the whole thing black, seeing that it's a black and white picture. You can still easily distinguish who the character is by leaving majority of it white. You just want to make sure that you can see the shadows. Here I've started doing the eye. Now remember, with the outline of the eye, you can try and make that as dark as possible. It gives it a very dramatic look, and that's just how they usually make anime. And it's also a very precise thing to do because the eye usually has a lot of detail. Now usually the top part you make thicker than the bottom part, and always remember to keep your lines as smooth as possible. Now she's got a very dramatic look in this photo, and we want to capture her emotions as well. So by doing this, you have to know where to put the highlights and the shadows properly. Now usually they make a little round circle in anime characters where light catches it, and it gives a very realistic, dramatic approach to the actual photo. Always remember, under the top eyelid, you will have, in real life and in anime, a shadow. Okay, here I am just touching up the lips again. Remember, majority of the lips in anime characters are made of shadows and don't really have their own lines to create the structure. As well as the nose, a lot of times the curvatures are made of shadows as well. The shadow below the bottom lip is always very little but bigger than the shadow above the top lip. I'm also just touching up the neck here. Remember, the neck is the deepest part. It's below the jawline as well as below the hair, which means it should get the more darker shading when doing it. So here's another little tip. Always remember that the hair is more close to you as the drawer than the face. So the face is below the hair, which means the hair casts a shadow over the face. And everywhere where the hair is over the face, you must also create a shadow, as I am demonstrating here. Just start with it as a very, very light shadow where the face touches the hair, and then as you go along, create a bit of a darker part closer to the hair. As you finish off your drawing, make sure all the lines are exactly as you want them. And then touch up everything. Make sure all the little spots are erased where you don't want any fingerprints to stay. And then also make sure all the highlights and the shadows are where you want them. And that concludes our tutorial for RUKIA. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought about it. If there's anything else you would like to see on this channel, please let me know, and have a good day.